All right, this is Access and Advocacy by Group C. What we're going to highlight here in this voice thread is the highlights of the session, the rationale for selecting activities, and the resources that you need. In regards to how we ended up focusing on our project and our lesson plan is to provide teachers with an imperative, larger view of access and advocacy. At the end of this lesson and at the end of this session, we want teachers to have some strategies to implement on day one of the first day teaching in the regular semester once they go back to their respective communities. We want teachers to have a knowledge and understanding of access and advocacy, and in thinking about how professional educators are reflective upon their practice. And we also have implemented a part of our lesson plan and part of the session, a time allow for teachers to be able to dive deep by creating a lesson of their own in regards to thinking about access and advocacy. First, we start by stating the objectives. We list the objectives to the research teachers. In doing this, we are helping the teachers understand and visualize how a lesson plan looks like and the process that they would have to go through as they start teaching. We also provide the criteria for success in regards to after they leave our session, um, and what we are going to be expecting from them in their exit ticket. First, we start with the do now. We decided to use a Google form. We also decided to use Google, all the resources from Google for our presentation because it's just a little bit easier, and many of our teachers are expected to have a Google account. The Do Now through form, it provides us a live feed about the responses that are given, and it also at the end of the 3-minute Do Now, we are able to see a visual representation of the answers provided by our teachers that will help us discuss. Then we do with our hook, and we do a pep talk from um, Kid President. And in regards, we decided to use this video because through one of our sessions, Institute can be long and tiring. So providing a pep talk to get our teachers excited about this work, excited about the session, and excited about how they want to be awesome. Because it will be common knowledge that all the teachers that decided to sign up for Teach for America decided that they wanted to be awesome. So how does awesome looks like uh, will help our teachers have that reflective knowledge and that understanding, getting it back to our points of access and advocacy in our session. Then we provide notes of what is access. We are going to be focusing mainly on Brazilian educator and philosopher Paulo Freire, and from his reading from Pedagogy of the Oppressed. We are expecting our teachers to write these notes down on a laptop or on paper so they can use them for future reference when they go back to their communities and they start implementing those lessons and implementing those elements in their units and in their daily lessons. Then we do a quick minute reflection of what is access. We are using this, we decided to use the strategy of turn and talk to kind of start helping the teachers think and feel and know how does it look like when the students are doing a turn and talk. That is something, as is a strategy that is used daily in the classroom. Again, we go back to notes. now what is advocacy. And one of the things that I want to focus on is how problem solving, education, and liberation of students through education. How through education we can it's a form of liberation, and how access and advocacy are big elements for our daily instruction. Then we move forward with another reflection with another quick video. And we continue to use the strategy of a turn and talk. The turn and talk strategy, we will explain to teachers. It helps students keep them accountable for the information that they just received. So instead of just watching a video for the joy of watching a video or for the sake of watching a video, there is a learning expectation that we are expecting from them. So on this session for pre-service teachers, we are also expecting those same learning objectives. Okay. Then we discuss why access and advocacy are important. This slide is very interesting and very important because we provide how it does not look like. Okay, so how it should not look like, how access and advocacy do not look like if we are not providing as educators those opportunities for our students to have. Okay, then we end up with the slide about having a discussion of what other reasons make providing opportunities of access and advocacy crucial for our students. Then we discuss common barriers for access and advocacy. We kind of discussed this because it's important for pre-teachers to understand that access and advocacy is just not another philosophical theory that some educator philosopher just thought about. Rather, we want to provide them factual evidence of why this element of access and advocacy is important in making sure that we are closing the achievement gap in our communities and with our students. Then we provide a common barrier for teachers. And this goes back to one of my second points at the beginning of the presentation, that we want teachers to have a knowledge and understanding of access and advocacy, in a sense to also be reflective upon their practice. So to be a good professional educator, you must be reflective over your practice. So think about the common barriers that teachers have in regards to using the elements of access and advocacy. Then in this part of the lesson, we provide a good contrast in between an exemplar classroom that uses access and advocacy and a non-exemplar classroom that uses access and advocacy. It's a sharp contrast that the hope is that it will help our teachers visualize how a exemplar classroom looks like and what are some of the strategies, the mentality, and the philosophy that they will use and the strategies that they will use in their classroom to have an exemplar classroom where we are liberating students through education. Okay, then that will have a compare and contrast Google Doc form that they will use, and then teachers will be able to reflect upon their choices. Now, this is the most exciting part of the lesson. This is where, going back to the third objective at the beginning of lessons, the teachers are able to dive deep by creating a lesson and thinking about access and advocacy. This is a time that teachers will be able to dive deep and create a lesson on their own in regards in using the elements of access and advocacy. We also provided a quick link for a Bloom's PDF. It's a two-pager that the students will be able to save on their drive for future reference when they go back to their communities. We also provided a project checklist form about kind of the success criteria that we are expecting for our students. And we decided to use a checklist instead of a rubric, as many of our pre-service teachers have used a rubric in the past and probably has a familiarity with it. But sometimes a checklist might be more student friendly, especially for our ELL and SPED students. Then our pre-service teachers will be able to evaluate each other and do like a peer edit in regards to their different projects. Okay, and then they will be able to turn the project in a Google Drive. At the end, we provide an exit ticket for students to be able to reflect upon the session's goals that we listed earlier on in the objectives in the first slide. Then we have a works cited page with all the information that we use. And this is our Group C, Access and Advocacy. Again, we were focusing on teachers to have some strategies to implement in their classroom on day one. We were able to do this successfully by providing kind of that lesson plan and allowing our teachers to create their own lesson plan, but also by providing kind of like that turn and talk strategy and that checklist. Teachers have a knowledge and understanding and about access and advocacy. Our teachers were able to do that by diving deep into the lesson plan and actually creating a lesson plan of their own and thinking about those elements, but also by showing mastery through the exit ticket at the end. And last but not least was that teachers were able to dive deep by creating a lesson plan, thinking about the elements of access and advocacy. And we were definitely able to accomplish this. So thank you for your time and appreciate it.